Hi there, welcome to the channel. Today I've got a lovely project to share with you. I'll be showing you exactly how to draw this adorable Jack Russell Terrier from start to finish. I'll guide you through every line and every shape, nice and slow, so that you can draw along with me. So grab your pencils, get comfy, and let's get started. Okay, so I've got the nose in and I want to bring the nose back up now towards the eyes and fill this little bit in around here. I'm going to use that warm grey 5 that we've been using recently, and the first thing that I'm going to do is bring a few pencil strokes over this side of the orange brown colour. And just let these pencil strokes very gently fall over and into the white. So I'm using pencil strokes that are the pencils coming off at the end of the pencil stroke, just using little wispy strokes, flicking that pencil off at the end to just darken down this side of the nose. I want to make sure that it does curve around, so I'm bringing the pencil strokes around as if it's coming down over the side of the face, so bringing those pencil strokes down over the side of the face, just getting little wispy bits, letting that pencil come off at the end, flick off at the end. And I want to make this bit just a little bit more intense, so I'm coming back over it with the burnt ochre, bringing that back over the side of the face. Remembering that if I need to get a colour a little bit more intense, a bit more saturated, I'll just go over and over it, over that area a few times. I won't press on any harder, just go over the space until I've got that saturation of colour. I'm going to bring some down this cheekbone down here as well. This little bit down here is the cheekbone, and so what's on the left of it is just going to go a little bit darker to just define that cheekbone there. I need there to be a division here, but I don't want it to be really strong. What I mean is I don't want it to be a really sort of strong crisp line. I want it to be a little bit broken, so it looks as if we have got fur going, coloured fur going from one side to the other, just a little bit. And then on top of that, this is the burnt sienna, and I'm going to bring some of the burnt sienna into the space as well. I've got a slightly darker bit at the back. I'll bring a little bit of it in down the side down here as well. Not too much. I don't want too much coming in here. Just dotting it in. It's got to be really, really subtle, just to shape the side of the cheek there. I'm going to also bring a little bit, this is my cinnamon from the polychromos, and I'm going to bring a little bit of cinnamon in just to blend out this slightly lighter bit here. It's got to be lighter, but it's not really, really light, so I'm just bringing in a little bit of the cinnamon. I'll bring a bit of the cinnamon down here as well. Bring that together. And then I'm going to come back to the warm grey 5, and I'm going to bring the tiniest bit of pencil. It's got to be really, really light, or it's just going to be too heavy. All I want is just to suggest really delicately that there is the side of the face there, but not a lot of pencil is going to go into that space. I don't want much pencil in that space. Let's just top this little bit up as well. It's really, really delicate. I'm just going to bring a tiny bit of this warm grey 5 down the side of the cheek. I will just add a bit up here as well. right on the top. It's just a sweep of the pencil. That's all I can get in, a sweep of the pencil. Pencil's tipped over on its side, or tipped over a little bit. It's about sort of 45 degrees, and then I can just get a little sweep of the pencil in there. That's pretty much all I need to put in there. So the pencil's sharp, but because I've got it tipped over, it's giving me that lovely light application of colour there. So let's just soften that out a little bit. Just soften this edge as well. And you might be looking at the screen and thinking there really isn't anything that you can see going down on the paper, and it is a really, really light application. So there isn't much going down at all, but there is something that's going down, and it's just enough to just soften the edge of that face there. I'm going to bring in the Cold Grey 3 as well, and whilst I'm working on this bit, I might as well bring in a little bit of grey on the side of this face now. Now, to get the white fur in here, I'm going to use the grey pencil, and I'm going to use that grey pencil to create the darker bits between the white fur. So I'm not trying to draw the white fur, I'm trying to draw the little dark bits that are in between the white hairs. You can see there, you can see how subtle it is. There really isn't much that's coming off the end of the pencil. There really isn't much that's coming off the end of the pencil, and that's really, really quite important. If I try and put this fur in too strong so that it really does look like I've got lots of strong dark lines in there, it's just going to look too much. It's just going to not look natural and not look in keeping with the rest of the portrait. So I'm using this Cold Grey 3 to very gently just tap in some of these darker bits. I'm looking at the direction that the fur's going. That's quite important. I want to look at the direction the fur's going because we want the fur going up the nose. But I'm just going to break through the light fur with the tiniest little taps of this pencil. You can see how little pressure I'm putting down. I'm actually holding my pencil quite far back as well. That's quite a long pencil, and I'm holding it about halfway back. Let's just have a look. So let's bring a little bit of depth in here. The pencil here, it's sort of, this is the top of the nose here, so it's starting to go out this way as we get just over the top of this nose, and then it comes back this way, and it just joins up with this orange pencil on the side. So I'm letting the pencil run over both sides of this edge of this nose here. I'm going to curve it around. So I am putting little bits of darker fur in to create the volume in the lighter fur, but it's still a case of looking for shapes really, rather than looking for individual furs, rather than looking for individual bits of fur. I can see that there's a little curve coming over the nose here, so I'm just dabbing these in. It's definitely something that you're going to want to put in quite lightly and then go back and add more if you need to. I've just got a graphite line there, I'm just dabbing that out. So definitely go back and have a look at it. You might need to put more in. Just bringing this around. I still want quite a lot of the raw paper showing here. It's the raw paper that's going to help to create this light fur. And the fur on the nose nose, it's sort of curving around right towards the top of this nose. Bringing that around. I'm going to let this cold grey run into the warm grey that's down here as well. And because I want a really, really soft, delicate texture of the fur, I am taking the pencil off at the end of the pencil stroke. I'm taking the pencil off at the end of every pencil stroke rather than just working backwards and forwards. Just paying attention to the direction of the curve of the fur. It's just putting the side of the face into a bit of shadow, really. There's some shadow there, but at the same time there's also some texture. And I want to just bring a little bit of that texture through. Same on this side. Bring a little bit of texture around this side as well. Now on this side, it's not quite so blue, it's not quite so cold, there's a bit more of the brown and the warm grey, so I'll just come back over to this side for the minute. And then I'm going to switch to the warm grey too and do exactly the same, but this time bring a slightly warmer grey through. This side of the nose. And we're just bringing that fur down towards the nose, so it's just curving around towards that nose. I don't want to put too much on here. It's going to be much easier to go back and add more if I need to add more. It's just another bit of a graphite line. And you can see I haven't put a base layer down in this bit. I don't really need a base. I want the raw paper to actually act as some of the light fur. I want the raw paper to show through. Now I've said I want the raw paper to show through, but I don't want it to be completely solid. I don't want the colour to be completely solid, so I'm using this warm grey too to just very gently add a little bit of texture into the top of this nose. I'm going to come back to the burnt ochre and just bring a bit more of the orange through the side of this nose. Got to be mindful of the direction of the fur. That's really important because the fur is going in that direction because it's moving around the structure of the face. It's moving around that bone structure on the face. So it is quite important that I follow that direction and get that direction in. And I'm going to let this burnt ochre pencil come over and into the light fur as well. A little bit of that comes through. There we go. I'm going to come back to the warm grey one and I'm going to bring a base layer in. I'm going to have a look at this bit here now. So I'm going to bring the base layer in. I'm still using the warm grey one as a base layer because it's going to help to keep these colours really, really muted. So it's going to be really useful for that. I could put an ivory in there as a base layer. It would keep things a little bit brighter. I like to keep things just a little bit more muted. So I'm not too worried about putting a bright colour in at the minute. What I will do is go over it with the burnt ochre 10% in a minute. I'm just going to work down to about there. There's a couple of graphite lines in there, but I don't want to take those out yet, or I think it's not going to really make sense on the video as to where I'm working. So I'll just leave those little bits for the minute. I'm going to grab my my burnt ochre 10%, and there's a little triangle of light there, so I'm just going to work around that. And if you didn't have this, you could use your beige red, something to bring a little bit of peachiness into this face, side of this face. Keeping the pencil on the paper. There's no need for me to take it off. It just gets me a much faster coverage. Nice even coverage for the base layer. And then this is the burnt ochre again. And over the top of that peach colour, I'm going to bring a little bit of this burnt ochre. I'm just looking for the shapes. We've got a bit of the bone structure here. There is a little bit of graphite there, which I'm going to take out. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but I can see it actually on the page, and I'm just going to dab that out. You may not need to do that, but I just need to dab that out. Get rid of that graphite. It's got a little bit of a cheekbone there. I don't want to put too much of this colour down. I want it to look peach rather than really orange. So I'm just going to work under this little triangle of lighter coloured fur. And as I'm working under the triangle, it's curving around that way. And then as we're going to come out from this triangle in a minute, it's going to come over this way. So it's sort of like doing a very shallow S. That's the direction of the curve. I want to remember that I want a really soft edge right on the edge where it meets the light colour. Let's bring this around here. So I don't want too much in here. I want that burnt ochre 10% and the warm grey to show through. I'm going to come back to the burnt ochre 10% and I'm going to do this second part of the face, which is the bit just under the bone structure. Here's the bone structure again, and just under this cheekbone, just at the back of this jaw, and then I can bring the burnt ochre in. going to work from the dark to the light when I get to this back bit, just so that I can keep this orange bit nice and tidy, nice and neat, and not make it too dirty. Very gently curve that dark bit over and into the side of the head. Before I go too much further, I am going to take the ivory and I'm going to blend. I'm going to blend this light colour that I've put down. So I'm going to use the ivory tipped over on its side and just bring these peachy colours together. I've got the pencil tipped over, and that's helping me to just push the pigment around that's gone down underneath with a nice broad pencil stroke. And I'm going to use the ivory and just let it very gently blend into this slightly lighter bit that's here. So let's just blend that out. There we go. And then I'm going to come back with the burnt ochre again and just top bits up. Obviously, because I've blended now, I've perhaps lightened areas, and I want to just come back and put some of that intensity of colour back in. Bring it back with the burnt ochre again, still following the direction of the fur. I'm going to bring a little bit of the burnt sienna in as well and darken down right on the side of this nose. So I'm going to bring the pencil over the side and curve it down towards the nose, and then when I get to right on the edge where it meets the light colour fur, I'm just going to create some wispy bits. And then back to the burnt ochre again. And I just want to very gently shape the side of this face. So I'm just remembering that the pigment here comes off this way, the pencil, the fur direction comes this way. Take it under the white triangle bit here. I've got to bring this down on the top as well. Just looking for those shapes and just sort of creating a nice balanced area. And as I'm putting this burnt ochre in now, I don't want to put it everywhere. It's really, really light over this side. So all I want to do is just use this burnt ochre to just add a bit of texture into what's there. I'm going to come back to the warm grey one as well and just finish off the side of this face, because at the minute we've just got raw paper here, so I'm just bringing the warm grey one in and I'm going to very gently just blend the orange bit in to the side of the face. And then let's just refine the edge of this just a little bit more. This is the burnt umber. So I'm going to bring a little bit of the burnt umber over just to refine this a little bit more. Just picking through the side of this light patch where it joins the orange bit, adding a little bit of depth. Do the same on this side, bring it through. And it could be that all I can do here is just dab a couple of pencil marks in. That could be that's all I can do. But it's just going to help me to put the volume into this fur by just adding some little, tiny little bits that are just going to make it look as if we've got some darker bits in between the light fur. But it's just taps of the pencil and it's really, really, really light pressure. And I definitely suggest the best way is to just do a bit, take a step back, have a look at it, and then make a decision as to whether you might need to do some more. And we can always come back to it. We can always come back to it at the end if we feel that we need to top an area up or refine an area or, you know, adjust it. I'm going to do exactly the same with this bit under here. So I'm going to dab into the graphite lines to start with. I'm going to use my warm grey one and follow the direction around the back of the side of the face, around here. Bring that round. I'm going to use the burnt ochre, 10%. Get this bit going around the back, just working with a nice even coverage around the back. Along the side of the face there. I'm going to bring the coal grey 3 in right on the edge. We've got quite a dark bit on the edge here. So I'm going to bring the coal grey 3 in first, and then I'll bring a little bit of the Payne's grey over the top. But let's get this little bit in right on the side of the face. Let's bring this around. The side of the face, there we go. And then let's use, I said I was going to bring the Payne's Grey in, and I will, but I want to bring a little bit of the burnt ochre because there's some of that coming through here as well. So it's going to be easy for me to put the light colour in first. It's much easier to work from light to dark. So if I get the burnt ochre in around here on the back of this jaw here, let's just bring that around. Again, I don't need to put too much in. I want to just make sure that it curves around. Just looking for those shapes. It's not everywhere. It's definitely coming through the back, but it's not everywhere. Let's bring a bit of this Payne's Grey in right on the edge so it's quite dark down here. And then I'm just going to work the pencil out towards the edge of the face so that it's nice and wispy. I don't want it really wispy because the dog's fur isn't that long. So if I made the pencil strokes too wispy, it just wouldn't look right. It wouldn't match the length of the dog's fur. I want to make it a little bit wispy. You can see it's there, just a little bit wispy, but not too much. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this Payne's Grey to just break up the edge of these two sections here. Bring a little bit around here as well. Really, really light. And then I'll come back in with the burnt ochre because it's a bit more orange right up at the top, right under the ear. But really out of focus, really quite blurred, so I don't want to put too much up there. Let's just top up the burnt ochre. I don't want to put too much burnt ochre in or I'm going to take over the whole space, and it needs to be really subtle because, I don't want this to become more dominant than this area here. So I'm going to keep it really, really quite subtle. I'm going to go back with the ivory and just blend this again. I'm not trying to press on so hard that I break the pencil. I'm not trying to burnish anything. I'm not trying to crush that paper. All I want to do is just blend. Going to bring a little bit of the burnt umber in, just underneath the jaw there. It's just a glaze. I'll bring a little bit of it around here. I'm just going to look for anywhere that I can see a bit of brown coming through, and I'll add a little bit of the burnt umber. And then just to desaturate this and push this back just a little bit, this is the coal grey one, and I'm going to just run the coal grey one over the side here. That's just going to help push it back. It's just going to help desaturate it a little bit, help push it back a bit. So there we go, that's the side of the head done. I will leave that little bit there, and all we've got to do is just fill in the bit of the mouth and come down onto the neck, and we're finished. And that's it for this part of the tutorial. Thanks so much for drawing along with me. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part of our Jack Russell project. I'll be back soon with the next video, but if you're itching to start another drawing in the meantime, head over to my website or check out my Patreon page. You'll find lots more tutorials and exclusive projects waiting for you there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.